Okay, right, ladies and gentlemen, let's make it start. Agenda item 2531, a repeat of Hollis Ransom. Can I have approval to approve?
Are we starting early?
Yes. Councillor Chapman's absence, please. Can we have a vote on that? Yes. Thank you. Unanimous. Agenda item 2513.2 is to note declarations of interest and request for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-opted member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Councillor Petermore and myself will remove ourselves from the room for agenda item 2513.10. Right, yes. And
6.
Oh yes, and 6 as well. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Not sure, Chair, but you better put me down for agenda item 2513.10 as well, in view of my connection with the Friends of Hampole Station.
I don't think that's.
No. Okay.
No, it's not relevant.
No, are you in agreement?
No, it's not relevant.
No, you're fine.
Not relevant.
Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. Well, there are no members of the public, so we'll move to 2513.3. 2513.4 is to approve and sign the minutes of the Town Council Finance Committee meeting on the 8th of April. Any comments from anybody? No. No. May I have a proposal to accept them and a seconder, please? All those in favour? Thank you. Agenda item 2513.5 is to approve and sign the minutes of the Hampole Town Council meeting of the 8th of April 25. Any comments, please? Councillor Small.
Item 2510.11. I hope I've got the right one there. 2510.11. Which relates to the VE Day anniversary event. I would like to take this opportunity of thanking Councillor Edwards Beach for her magnificent running of the VE Day celebrations.
Yeah.
I thought the event was superb, and the Friends of Hampole Station were very pleased to be able to have a stall at that event. But I think the whole thing went extremely well, and obviously the children were particularly well catered for at this event. It was superb. Thank you very much.
We're a little bit feral at
Yes.
Can I expand on that and just say thank you very much to all the other councillors who took part and helped out, because without you all being there and doing it, it would not have happened. But a special thanks to you.
Ashley did so well.
And of course our clerk, who had to see off quite a lot of children before we started, I believe. So thank you to all of you for that. It's brilliant. Yes.
Can I also thank people who organised and did the Peace of the Light of Peace ceremony?
Yes,
Considering when it was and everything, it was very well attended.
Very well.
There was a lot of the younger people there, and I noticed quite a few of the youngsters stopped as they passed on the road just for a few minutes, but it was nice to see.
Yeah.
I also would say that the Lord Lieutenant or Lieutenant, whatever she said, I can't remember. She said she had an amazing time, everyone was lovely, and she wants to come again. And we've also had a guy called Richie filming the whole event. So we're going to have like a big video thing put together so we can build things up for like next year and Christmas and things like that. So we were going around just filming and doing little interviews and stuff. So that is working on editing that at the moment. So
good. Big tick, job well done.
Yeah.
Well done all of you. Councillor Small.
Yeah, two quick comments. Item 17, annual town meeting, very poorly attended by members of the public. In fact, the only identifier identifiable member of the public, as far as I was concerned, was my wife, who was dragged along and didn't really want to come. Item 16, yeah, we made an application to the National Lottery. It will be 4 months before we hear whether we've got to stage 2.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from anybody else? Okay, can I please have a proposal to accept those minutes and a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Okay, I will hand over to the Vice Chair, who will take agenda item 29.13.6. We don't need to remove ourselves from this one, but we will remove ourselves for the other one.
Yes, item agenda 25.13.6 to approve and sign the order of payment for May 2025. Councillors, any comments? That's the case. Can I have a proposer to accept them? Councillor Roger Small, a seconder, Councillor Wendy Fogarty. All those in favour? Unanimous.
Okay.
Carl?
Oh, sorry. Miles away.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 25.13 second is to receive a report from the PCSO.
Which I have. Since the last meeting, I've tried to get hold of PCSO Izzy Yates, very unsuccessfully. We've had numerous emails bouncing back between me and her, and she's on holiday this week, so can't attend the meeting. Yeah.
I thought I saw it at Tesco's last night.
Well, she told me, sent me an email saying that she's on holiday this week, so that scuppered this.
I was wrong.
I'll follow that up, because if she's sent me a duff email, I won't be very happy. So I also spoke to PC Matt Rowbottom, because I see him dotted around quite regularly, and I asked him if he'd like to attend if I get a chance. And I said, well, there's been no police presence at the Hampthorne Town Council meeting for 6 months now, and the sort of excuse was, well, that's been off. He'll be back in June. We'll make sure he comes to that one. So I kind of said, well, if he's back in June, he'll have been back for maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
Because he won't come back on the 1st of June. He'll come back sort of the first week. And the council meeting will be at the end of the first week, early second week. So he's not really going to have a lot of time to sort it out.
Can we put in a comment to the sergeant on the block? I don't know any. To say,
I'll find out who he is. Yeah, I'll find out who he is.
That's on numerous occasions
Yeah.
for someone to attend and nobody has.
Yeah,
Because they're advertising, they want to get to know the community more.
yeah,
Well, surely coming to a council meeting should be able to inform them about what's going on.
yeah.
And be informed.
I'm being informed, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, Matt. I mean, I know Matt quite well, and Matt's a good copper. He's a decent guy. I just wonder whether he's restricted by his peers or the police umbrella that maybe stop him from attending these events, which is why he always passes it off to Gareth to do.
Right. But I think if we go to the sergeants
Yeah.
and request that on a number of occasions we've invited a police to in attendance and nobody's taken it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Since Gareth's been on.
The sergeant has changed again, I believe.
Yes.
Again.
Councillor Chris Sampson has.
Also, they've not attended for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Meetings. Also, they never attended the annual general meeting,
Yeah.
which they were down for,
Right.
which is the most important one. In
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's pathetic, the attendance.
Do we send a reminder to the
Yeah.
police?
We should.
Do we do it?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
And how often does that go out?
Once a month, something like that. Well, in advance of the council meeting to say. You know,
Do you ever get any response back from the police to you to say, we won't be attending, or we will be attending, or we'll send a report?
Generally, as it goes, I'm going to send you a report. Whereas Gaz will say, yes, I'm coming, or here's my report.
Yeah, I mean, Gareth's quite reliable.
My Wolves Western Crawley PCSO generally attend meetings.
Yeah.
If you can't attend, we'll send a detailed report. We'll send
Yeah.
a really detailed report.
Yeah.
because I did send in my email to Izzy Yates, about the police report. And I said I wanted a little bit more content in it. And it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
You should just photocopy it.
It is. It's
Rubbish.
It is. Yeah.
Basically, we had 2 incidents over the Easter period where they had to put the helicopter up.
Yeah.
Not
commented on.
that.
No.
How much did it cost to put the helicopter up?
A lot.
A lot of
A
money.
lot of money.
Thousands.
Taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
They should be answerable and let us know what's going on in Handful.
Yes, they should.
absolutely.
Councillor Small.
These are from March, aren't they?
Councillors, please. Councillor Small.
Can I just say that there was an incident at the station recently in which vile graffiti was sprayed all over the place, and a passer-by attempted to take a picture of the guy who was doing the spraying, was assaulted for his efforts and had to escape into the railway hotel to escape further assault. I'm disappointed to see that that incident is not on this list here.
Were the police involved in that?
I think the police response has been extremely disappointing.
But were they called to attend?
That
This
I
was a
can't
bit
tell you.
vague, wasn't it,
Was
at
it-
the
was it
town council
reported
meeting?
to?
We weren't sure whether it was the police, transport police or otherwise.
Anything on the stations is British Transport Police.
It was British Transport Police.
I was told it was British Transport Police's
Oh, right.
responsibility to
Yeah.
investigate.
It's on
But
stage.
by the time it's happened, it's too late. Actually.
Can I just say these are from March? They
The dates.
The dates are
Yeah.
marked.
So we've not given you anything.
So it's photocopy, isn't it? You're right.
Yeah, well spotted. I'll
Right,
mention
thank
that.
you for that.
So when it said about the white season, they're not sure you've seen that before. So that's why we like and then see the date.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a note of that.
I believe that the graffiti incident also extended to the White House on Windsor Road. Somebody told me that recently.
Okay, right, can we just not all talk at the same time? I think just
One
one
question.
last comment, please.
Yeah. You're talking about Spain. Is this to do with the White House?
Well, that was another incident.
Yeah.
That was another incident that we don't think has been reported.
Because on Saturday, when I was coming here, I came out of the road and the car park's on my left. There's a police van, 2 police cars, God knows how many coppers were there, and also all the residents were out in a big discussion there. So what's gone on? Has there been another incident with the
Spraying
spray?
of the cars.
Yeah.
That's what I heard on the grapevine. That's what the kids told me on the grapevine.
Right, okay.
Absolutely,
I
I've had
think
an email
what we can
from-
say is that we're not very happy.
No, just another quick thing to what Roger was saying. If the guy who took refuge in the railway didn't report it to the police, then unfortunately there's nothing that the police can do about it. And it won't get registered, it won't get logged as a police incident. It'll just be a skirmish.
I'm not sure of my facts, but
Yeah.
as far as I know, the guy definitely reported it to the Friends of Handforth Station, who asked to see his video record. The video record was extremely poor. I don't think anything could have been done with it.
No,
But that's as far as I know.
But
I
if
don't
it
know
isn't
whether it was taken
reported to the
further.
police can't log it as a crime and it remains null and void.
I can't tell you whether that was
No,
done or
okay.
not. I'm sorry.
I'd just let you know that Julie Smith was contacted by Hugh asking, what can we do about this? And she said, well, you've got to go to the police or British Transport Police. Or how's the CCTV working? You not get information from that. I believe that, is it still defunct? And it's what was it, the railway?
All I know about it is, and Mr. Ball will perhaps bear me out, I don't know. All I know about it is that the CCT coverage provided by Network Rail is recorded at Blackpool and looked at once every Preston Guild.
Yeah, but that's why if it goes to British Transport Police, they're made aware of it, and they can go, they're the ones who control the road, and they're the ones who should be looking at it. So,
Yeah.
Ian,
that's
can
something
you
we should
expand
be
on?
doing.
Can you expand on that?
Not really, I think that's it. Basically, every time we've had a reason to ask for video from the Northern Network Rail System, we're told no, it's not, you can't have it. And then they don't have anyone available to look at it.
But I bet if the police ask for it, they give it to the police.
The police probably can force the issue. Do they have the incentive to force the issue unless there's a murder?
Yeah. But unfortunately, if things don't get reported to the police, then they don't get logged as a crime.
Right, we have an update. Yeah.
A small update, Matt Robot contacted me yesterday. It just says we've had a few incidents of criminal damage at the White House Bath Lane. Latest one was vehicles being set alight at 01:27 hours on Saturday the 10th of May. Can you check your CCTV coverage in that area? The offender was wearing a grey navy hooded top and green pants. We're really struggling with this, so any help would be great. Actually, any help would be help according to this.
Well, that's appeared on Facebook tonight.
It has appeared on Facebook, hasn't it? Yeah. And he says he's looking into the incidents which are escalating and the number of lines of inquiry being made, obvious and preventative measures. The press release will be going out soon, and that's the press release that you've seen.
From March.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can sum that up. Have you got anything else to say before I just sum that up?
No, but I'll be dropping Matt an email, trying to find out when Gareth's coming back, because Gareth is better than nobody.
Yeah.
I've never been a massive fan of PCSOs, in my honest.
yeah,
Well, I just think they're an absolute waste of time. So, if we get Gareth here, it's a start for the second part of the year.
Okay.
But
well, I think what we need to do is send a letter to the Chief Constable to say that we're very unhappy that we haven't had proper reports. And I think we just go for the top. Why speak to all these people down below? Just send it to him. He can do what he likes with it.
And the police commissioner, I suggest.
So you did a few weeks ago, you mentioned something about a meeting with the police commissioner.
Yeah.
That's next Monday.
Oh, okay.
that's a good opportunity, isn't it? Yeah.
Are you going?
Yes,
Can I go?
of course, he's coming to look at the CCTV,
Right.
and I will take the opportunity to speak to him. But I still think we need to send a letter to the Chief Constable.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you meeting him?
I don't know. I only know the date. He's coming because of the comments now by Councillor Smith and Councillor Moore, or maybe two councillors about the CCTV in Hanforth, and he wants to come
But
and have a look
is he
at
coming
it.
to
So
Hanforth?
he's coming on the 19th.
Right, so he's in town.
That's all I know.
He's here.
He's coming here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to put it in notices and correspondence.
Yes, it's notices and correspondence, so we can deal with that later. But yes, I will take that opportunity to bring that to his attention. But I'd like the council to agree that a letter goes out to the police.
I think given that our proximity to the meeting with PCC, that's going to be the quicker route to get.
That can be
That's going to be the quickest route, isn't it?
Absolutely.
possibly, yeah, but it doesn't have to have a fallback position, does it?
And it's more direct. And whenever I've written to senior police people, I never get a reply.
Okay, well, we'll see what
Because it
happens
goes into
on
a
Monday.
chain and it gets passed to somebody else, and somebody else gets to deal with it, and then it goes somewhere else and somewhere else.
All right,
But if you've got him right in front of you, he can't get away, he can't hide.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's move on then. Are you happy with that?
Yeah,
What we're
definitely,
going to
yeah,
do?
yeah.
Okay. Agenda item 2513.8 then is to discuss the grant application received from Hanforth Model Engineering Society to replace soffits on the Meriton Road Park Pavilion. The grant requested is £1,000. Comments, please. Councillor Smith.
It's my understanding that the mechanical engineers have a lease on the Meriton Road pavilion. I phoned their secretary, Ian McKay, just very recently to inquire whether they would have permission to adjust things on the building. And Ian's response was, yes, we have the lease, and as part of the lease, it's our duty to maintain the building. And the replacement of rotten wooden fascias by more modern plastic varieties certainly firmly comes under maintenance of the building, and therefore I interpret that as that the society does have permission to carry out this work, and as mechanical engineers, I would have thought they were capable of doing an absolutely splendid job. So this application would have my support.
Comments from anybody else?
Yes, what's that?
The underneath the guttering, the flat bit that covers the top of the building. So you've got the guttering and then the flat bit that covers it.
Just like fully in favour of making it grant to the HMAS.
I'll second it.
Right, so are you proposing,
Yes.
Alison Smith? You're seconding. All those in favour?
Can I request that?
Anyone against? Okay.
Would the rep from the society like to pass comment?
Can I ask that you give us a report once to install, so that we can come and see them? To the council, when you get them installed, so that.
Keep us updated.
Yeah. But I think that's part of the whole process.
Yeah. Okay, agenda item 2539 is to discuss the replacement of 2 dilapidated benches in Henbury Road Park with 2 new benches, recycled plastic Dale, up to a maximum value of £650 plus VAT, plus delivery charges. Councillor Harrison.
Yeah, so it's just a lovely park near me. It's not one obviously considering Meriton Road and sorry, I can't remember the one called. So the 2 benches left, I can leave. Assume was vandalism. They have since been repaired with a quick fix, but they're not in a state that's acceptable to be left in. It's not usable. So again, and thanks to Ashley just for looking into the benches. Do you have any more detail on this?
Right now, I've had to speak to our friends at Cheshire East, who said that they're okay with us replacing them, but they might have their own specs of a bench that they would rather get in, which is more expensive than what I've put
Yes,
together.
well, the
this
comment to
agenda.
that would be then they can provide the shortfall.
Obviously, the point is that would they pay for those benches? Or
Oh God, no,
No.
right. No. We have to pay for them.
Do we know what the increase cost would be?
There'll be something. I've been in Church Street. You put one in.
I think
Meriton
you've got
Road.
something to say about this.
One of our members has purchased a said bench. If you're talking about
Streetmaster. Thank you.
absolutely. It was the same bench in Meriton Road Park, and it basically cost us £1,250.
For one bench?
And we put it in. We installed it.
We've got the plastic ones at school in the
Oh,
park.
they're brilliant.
You know, you can't destroy them, you can't
can't-
have lights,
You
them, you
actually
can't
can't
carve your
destroy
name in them.
these ones.
So basically, we're talking about,
Well, we put our own in.
2,000,
Just put
2,500.
our own in.
no, because we have to have permission.
It's not our property.
Unfortunately, it's not, you can't do it without their permission.
What's it matter what you put in? You're putting it in a bench. What's it matter to them what bench you put in?
Because
It's not,
their
they're not
park.
paying for it, are they?
They've got to seat it, oh, don't ask me.
My suggestion is you take all the benches out and then we don't have to maintain any of them, like we've done at our little park.
Then no one can sit down
I
in the
disagree with
buses.
that, because I think
You can
parks
sit
there
there
for
once.
people to sit in. I don't like the cost of it, but you know, this is the whole point about there being an overall group for the parks. We've got some very unequal money spending in our parks in Hamforth. Stanley Hall Park is very well looked after by a very competent team of people who seem to be able to raise money and look after the park very well. Merriton Road Park doesn't have the same status as that, but has seemed to have received all sorts of money from various places. And Hembury Park and the little one over here, Parsonage Park, are sort of abandoned.
We are pushing the Parsonage Park to be looked at properly. Had a meeting with the people.
Well, it should be, but if we have the umbrella group, they should all be treated equally, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Well, if we're going to have to go and have something expensive, but we could have a conversation about it, couldn't we? Then if we have just replaced one of them, if we have to go to that £1,250 bench, could we ask for some help from the Engineering Society that have just given you a grant for £1,000 to install it so that we don't have to pay an installation charge?
Quite happy to do that.
Would you help out?
Yes, you might run into insurance issues though.
Okay.
Basically, well, we're quite happy to do it, but we install our own bench because I told Lee Beckett that if it was on our lease demise and it was covered by our insurance, we were installing it and not paying the council £300 to install.
I think the clue's in engineering, isn't it? Well, can we explore that possibility?
You certainly can, and we will help you.
Of course, yes. So we can cover that. So if you install it, we can cover it. We've got confidence in you and we've got the insurance. So how?
It's very easy. It's
Super.
I can't see why Cheshire East won't look at the possibility of putting benches in half the price than they're going to pay. There must be somebody at Cheshire East who makes these decisions that we can get onto and say, listen, we're saving you £700 here.
Well, perhaps Ashley and I, perhaps with the help of our ward councillors, we might be able to have that conversation and see if we can get someone.
Can I just say, we've been having a conversation with Cheshire East about assisting the train guys, and there's an offer on the table from train guys to do a lot of work because it's what they do. They fix that place up to the condition it is, but they're also offering further improvements to make it better for their usage and make it a better place. The problem we've got is that Cheshire East, they're not willing to commit, because for Ian and guys to do it, they need some sort of commitment, but Cheshire East are dragging their feet on it completely. We're going to try tomorrow again to see the head of the place, because he should be at the monthly meeting tomorrow. So we're going to try again there. But they have this mindset that it's, let's not do the sensible thing. Let's do what we're insured for. So that's what we're fighting against at the moment. If we can get them to respond.
What would happen, Councillor Smith, if we just got these benches and installed them and they're covered by our public liability insurance? What can they do about it?
Not a lot, but when you consider the picnic tables on Stanley Hall Park that we had installed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recollect when we saw that they'd been vandalised and bashed up, and because they were not functioning correctly, ANSA took the one that was knackered away.
I thought it was because it was broken.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, they took it away.
Right, okay.
That's what they do. If it's something's not, and when you got these.
A bit more clarification.
Yes, I think we can have a conversation. Get a bit more clarification. But can we take a vote now that if we can't get what we require, that we replace one of the benches to the standard that the Cheshire East require, and then we can get on with it.
No, I don't agree that we should pay Cheshire East prices.
Well,
Definitely not.
It's either, well, the point is this, you either pay Cheshire East prices and replace them, or if they put their foot down, we can't replace them at all. And I don't think that's right. This is a public open space, and people should be able to sit there to enjoy that public open space. Councillor Moore.
We have a history of people having extensions or what have you with no planning permission, and Cheshire do nothing about it. What will they do about it?
Can I?
Okay.
Nothing, will they?
All right, Councillor Harrison.
No,
I was just saying-
Councillor Smith on his hand.
Yeah,
Go on.
Just to say that it's worth talking, I think, to Eddie Jackson.
Mhm.
So,
Eddie.
Eddie
Jackson.
And-
Oh,
and-
right,
and
yeah, oh,
to ask-
yeah.
ask him.
If it doesn't get back to you for 2
Well,
weeks.
he seems to be a little bit more friendly now because he's come back into Cheshire East. He's no longer answer. He's not at arm's distance. So he's being more friendly. But if we can ask him, look, you've got 2 of your benches are broken. Are you going to put them back? You're going to replace them, please. So that's the question.
Yeah, it's back on.
Okay, so would you like then to defer that? You have that conversation with him and we'll bring it back next month. Yes? Right, well, let's defer the item. Let's just have a vote on that. Let's just see who would like to agree to defer that item. Just raise your hands, please. Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Let's give John the opportunity to speak to him tomorrow
Yeah.
and be
Yes.
and be
See
quiet.
what happens.
He won't be there.
Councillor Moore,
He won't be there tomorrow.
I'm going to hand over to you, Councillor. Councillor Moore, you need to leave the room with me.
I'll keep quiet. I'll keep very quiet.
Right, item 251310. Motion to discuss the purchase and installation of 2 new CCTV work as part of the Town Council CCTV network covering Station Road in both directions and Hampton Station Concourse as part of the Town Council's policy to continually develop its Town Council CCTV system. These to be mounted on the railway PH following completion of an agreed memorandum of understanding between Hanforth Town Council and the railway PH up to a maximum amount of £700 plus VAT. And this motion was asked for by Councillor John Smith. Comments, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair. When we first installed the cameras in the village, we didn't really know what we were doing, but it seemed to turn out very well. It helps that we've got the contractor on site and available, and that they're not trying to nail our hat at all. What we've always found though is that we were covering from Tesco all through the centre of the village and to the Freemasons. That was all covered. There were cameras pointing up Station Road and across, but there was nothing pointing down Station Road. So what we've proposed, because the railway pub was having some work done on their own system, is that what we're looking to do is mount 2 cameras on their property, on the roof, one facing east, one facing west. And what we've had in the past is that there's been burglaries, certainly on Woodlands Road, in that area, cars being stolen, all around the south end. What they do is they race up the road, they screech to a halt at the lights, and then they head off to the A555, and that gets them to the motorway network very, very quickly. And what we're looking for now is that we have cameras as part of our system, not the railway pubs, but part of our system, and that the data comes to here, which Ashley is the data controller for, and that we would have the full, hopefully, the whole village covered with an ability to find people who don't want to be found. It was mentioned when we put we got up and running with the system, that the police considered that it was worth an extra police officer with the effects that it had. So that's why we're looking to take this opportunity now that the railway, new owners and the work done. So looking to make sure that we take advantage of it.
Would,
Councillor, is this just for Station Road?
Looking down Station Road.
Left and right?
Yeah.
From the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned before in the opening canvas saying that the other end of the village is a Tesco's, the cameras.
Yeah.
That will only go as far as the memorial. Can we not have further cameras put further down towards the roundabout?
Yeah, but
The
problem would be power. That'd be a problem with getting power for those.
But the lampposts have got power.
They don't work very well still because because the fuses click on, click off, things like that. The cameras will click on, click off when you mount into their power.
Yeah.
So you need agreement with private buildings down there.
Right.
If we were to go
What
ahead.
about the White House, would that not include or something?
They might do, they don't do it, but this is where we've explored this opportunity so far.
I spoke to the owners of the White House before we actually did this installation, and he was willing to do it, but the problem was that you've got to have line of sight from where the cameras are, and the road bends.
Yeah.
What we've got is line of sight now. But we can see people going through that crossing out of the village that way.
Which, by the Pinewood?
No, at the
Tesco's,
yeah. There is access to see it, isn't there?
Yes.
You can see people going through.
Yeah.
But that is also picked up from, let's imagine it's someone coming from Woodlands Road. Currently, they're up the road, turning right at the lights, they're picked up there, then they're picked up outside Marines, then they're picked up at Tesco. What this is doing is giving us early
directions.
to see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And it's the entrance to the village, entrance and exit to the village. So that's why we're looking to take advantage of it.
Right, I agree.
Being there as well,
Yeah,
makes
cool.
sense.
I think we should start looking at going further down the village towards Manchester.
Yeah.
I'm sure the doctors, where the dentists and doctors are, that's a building. Surely we can approach them and ask them, can we use their power to shoot down further down off the band?
Can we not use traffic lights?
Oh, they could.
We can't pipe our power into traffic lights.
No.
But the police have their own stuff at that end of the village.
We're lucky enough to be able to use the CCTV columns. They let us use those and the power supply from the street.
It's a decent from here. I can see where it's gone.
Right.
They're NPR quality.
Yeah.
I think these, right, NPR quality.
Councillor Smith, could I'm in favour of this proposal, quite clearly, but what I would like you to clarify is whether these two cameras will give good coverage of the station concourse, because as we've heard earlier this evening, the station is frequently a site where miscreants get up to mischief, and we would dearly love to have good coverage of the station concourse in view of the fact that the Network Rails system is so pathetic as far as we're concerned in catching criminals that work on the station.
I think we have to have permission from Network Rail.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm the only area we need permission from Network Rail to look on
Okay.
we can't do that. In answer to the question though, if you imagine the Freemasons pole, you can see like that a good 270 degrees across that crossroads. So that's the kind of coverage you're looking. If you're looking like that at Station Road, if you really want to see the road, and you'll be covering the station. And again, the same from the other camera.
You know, the better coverage we have.
Yeah, of course.
Does that answer your question?
I think so. I
It's
was
not just-
hoping you'd say
it's not
there will
just a
be
narrow-
excellent coverage of the station concourse.
It's not just a narrow picture.
No.
Right, okay.
It's not a good view.
Yeah.
I presume it was like a semicircle of views.
In fact, would we get 2 views?
Yeah.
Would the cameras
Yeah.
catch the station twice?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, councillor Smith. Can I have a proposer to accept this motion, please? Councillor John Smith, seconder. Councillor Christopher Sampson, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you.
Yeah.
25,
Tom knows.
Trees, like,
13,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, agenda item 25.13.11 is to agree the use of funds from the climate change environment budget to purchase trees planted in Hamford up to a value of £1,000, and that was my proposal. We've lost a tremendous number of trees in and around Hamford over the last
20 years.
a long time, including huge numbers in Hall Road Wood, to be precise, Councillor Small. So I would like the council to agree and be happy to accept any nominations from anybody about where you would like any of the trees planted. I have my own list. And any comments from anybody, please?
I would like this proposal to be accompanied by a strong letter to the manager of the BMW unit, pointing out that construction of their establishment has caused the loss of a lot of trees, not only in the, as you say, the tree line from Hall Road, but also they've lost some trees from the environmental barrier, the western end of it. And I think they all ought to be replaced. And furthermore, I think the frontage of the BMW garage looks awful. It's got great lumps of granite all over it, interspersed with some sort of tatty plants, which are obviously dying off anyway. I think they ought to plant some trees in across their frontage, and indeed down Lower Meadow Road as well.
They won't plant trees because they don't want the
Birds dropping poo on their cars, yes.
No, they don't. They're not planting trees because it takes away their security if it's covered by trees. That's what I was told by the manager.
Could have been something different though. It really is tatty. It's like a moonscape.
Okay.
Wow.
For all these trees that we're losing to building sites, developments, and of the sort, and as Smalls just said, the BMW place and whatnot that's going on, do these housing developers provide tree saplings for us to plant?
No, normally they provide, if there's been trees there and they've had to remove them, they are supposed to replace like for like. But who maintains that or monitors it, I do not know.
But then they should be giving the trees or the cash to us, and we decide where they go. Because, as Councillor Small says, they don't want trees around the car dealership, because as you said, the sap comes off them, they'll make the cars mucky. So they're never going to plant trees there. So they should give us the trees and say, these are the trees we cut down. There was 800 of them or 500 of them. Here are 500 or the money for 500, and we should decide where we then replant them. Same with the Jamie Webb Way plot over there, where all the trees were cut down there. And it's going to happen on Hamforth Dean as well. There'll be dozens and dozens of trees chopped there. And that's not taking into account all the trees down this road here that are getting blown down because they're too big
And not being replaced.
and not being replaced. You know,
I don't know whether, I can't remember, Councillor Roy, whether you were present at the planning committee meeting, but there are plans to develop the piece of land which is immediately behind Boots. And the western edge of that piece of land is an extension of what's called Handforth's Green Corridor. It's an extension of the wood to which Councillor Moore arranged a nice footpath to be laid. And it's proposed that there will probably be retail development on that site, in which case this council needs to be quite wary of that development causing further tree loss to that Handforth's Green Corridor. And that's a real danger.
Councillor Fogarty?
Do we ever apply to the Woodland Trust for the 3 trees?
We can apply to them, however, the trees that they actually supply are quite small. We do have a very good contract for larger trees, which are likely to survive at very reasonable prices. So yes, whilst we can use them, we did put some hedging in at the school, St Benedict's here, but a large proportion of it has been lost, unfortunately. But there's still some there, but they are so small.
Quite a few have survived, yeah.
From about this height.
Oh, no, we haven't.
So, yeah, we can apply, but to be honest, I'd like to get something a little bit more mature than that. Okay, any more comments from anybody? I'll propose it. May I have a seconder? Okay, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Agenda item 25.13.12 is to receive an update from the Communications Working Group, Councillor Peter Moore and Councillor Harrison. Councillor Harrison?
Yeah, not sure about this month. We've not been up to much. Fortunately, I've been quite busy myself. I'm not sure if Peter Moore's been able to make some progress, but we are hoping to continue to get some kind of event. I think, did we have a...
I think we've plateaued this last month, haven't we? We're having a Zoom meeting again from next week, and we'll push forward again. So we haven't gone back a bit, I must admit, mostly me. And bogged down with things.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much. Agenda item 25.13.13 is to receive notices and correspondence.
And this is where I was going to tell you, yes, we are having a visit from the Police Crime Commissioner next Monday, the 13th of May.
19th of May.
19th of May.
I know, because it's my birthday. I really needed that, like
Yeah, I can.
What time?
God, was it 2:30?
2:30.
I think it's 2:30.
Oh, we'll be able to take miles up early. Okay.
I'm sure it's 2:30. I think it's 2:30. Let me just double check. Oh, sorry, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Sorry, 2 p.m.
Well, depends how chatty it is, I might make it. Okay. So we've all got that. Police and Crime Commissioner, Monday the 19th, 2 p.m. Councillor Small.
Yeah, I don't know whether Ashley was going to mention this, but I've sent him 2 pieces of correspondence recently, very recently. One was a thank you letter from the Friends of Handforth Station for the grant received. We have bought the bunting for Railway 200, which is on the decorating the ticket office. We bought the pull-up poster for Railway 200, and we have now bought the electronic display unit, which is going to be placed in the station so that the image is projected out towards Station Road. So that's all going quite well. We thank the council for that. The other piece of correspondence is I've had an email from a guy called John Kelly, who's a Wilmslow Town Councillor. He's also part of the Crewe to Manchester Community Rail Partnership. He's involved in trying to set up a trust or a group of people who are interested in furthering the cause of the Dean Valley in terms of installing new footpaths, perhaps repairing that wooden footbridge across the River Dean, which is down near the Bluebell Wood, and jobs like that, and generally improving the whole valley for wildlife and nature in general. he wanted me to take on the job. I'm sorry, I've reached saturation point. I can't accept. I've forwarded the communication to both yourself and to Councillor Peter Moore in the hopes that someone will fill the breach there and respond. Yeah, thank you very much.
No, you can put in the ground.
Sorry?
You can put in the ground application, do it next month.
Okay, very nice. Okay, yes, can I just say again, publicly, my thanks to the people who organised and attended the event on Saturday. It was a fabulous day, I believe, and I am very grateful that we have such talented people to take over all this organisation. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So thank you to all of you, but particularly thanks to Councillor. Yeah. We're hoping that it will become an annual event, and that's up for discussion with the council. The next event will be the Christmas light switch on, won't it, which we hope will be as good. So thank you again very much. Okay, so the last item is agenda item 25/13/14 to agree the date of the next HTC full council meeting to be held on the 10th of June at 7 p.m.
Chair, could I please go back to agenda item 3, which occurred at least 15 minutes before the start of the meeting, I understand?
Yes, indeed. We did start the meeting earlier, my profound apologies, but some of us have been here since 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I can well imagine. I know how that kind of thing happens. Could I just make one request, or at least ask if there are any objections? If we could revert back to the good old days in one respect of Handforth Parish Council, where on the agenda there was always an item to give a brief summary of what's happening in Cheshire East from the ward councillors. And I know there was a lot of argy-bargy. One councillor refused ever to do that. He was encouraged a lot, but the other councillor was quite prepared to do it.
We're sort of doing it every other month at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a last
We have a ward councillor's report, which is given nearly every month.
Yeah, every other month.
Every other month.
Every other month. Yeah.
Oh,
Every other month you've been putting it on. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure Councillor Smith would not object to updating us on anything that's going on at Cheshire. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, taking on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I just ask a quick question? Does anyone know what's happening at the Porsche garage with the fencing at the front? They seem to be putting big bloody stakes up. It's like the fencing off the enclosure. I walked past it tonight. There's
Wasn't there a planning application that went in before?
Signage.
It's signage.
Yeah, it was a
Outside.
signage.
It's just.
We presumed it was on the building at the time the planning permission was given, but maybe it's not.
so when you walk down the hill into Wilmslow,
I saw it, yeah.
there are now stakes
Yeah.
in the front of the brick wall. So between where the cars park and the brick wall, the small sort of 1.5 foot brick wall,
Yeah.
there are now great big stakes in, and they look like they're going to be screwing boards to it, which to me is a bit bizarre, because surely they want people to see the cars.
So maybe it's the spray painted ones, like them around. Odds and
Yeah.
I'm not possibility of it.
Only because.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Close the meeting at 8:26. Thank you very much all for attending and for your hard work.
Lovely.
Let me ring you tomorrow. I've been planning for the last few days. Yeah, I'll see it. I'll take it. Yeah. I'll taste it. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.